under the seat, you can see we've got all of our pairs, red and black wires coming up. Now the positive side on most of our leads is red. On the cut and clicks it's always red. On some of our other products, the positive side is the one with a little white stripe on it, or with some white lettering on the wire. We use, like our TNT lights, they have a little white stripe on the light side, on the positive side. But if you do, by chance, hook these up wrong and put the power to a ground and the negative to power, it's not going to blow anything up. It's only going to not work. That's all. So I'm getting all these red wires that are coming up here twisted together, and I'm getting all my black wires connected together, and right now I'm just twisting. That's all I'm doing. Bringing them together, twisting. There is no need, the way that we wire a bike, there is no need for solder. Some people feel more comfortable soldering. If you want to solder, have at it. We don't solder. No need to, and you'll see in a minute why. This is not going to come apart. And I've got one more pair over here that's kind of just a little on the short side. And I am going to add that black one to that bunch. And then we're going to get this red bunch here twisted in with this wire here. So now I have all my reds joined together and all my blacks joined together, which is a beautiful thing. I'm not happy with this black wire. It's a little bit short, so I'm going to twist it up just a tad. Now, I'm going to take and place over those wires, after I cut them off just a little bit, get some of that rough end off of there. They don't need to be this long inside the connector. Snip that off. And we'll take one of our blue butt connectors, comes in your kit, and we will slip that. You may need a yellow. The yellows are a little bit heavier, and if your wire gets to be too thick, if you have too many of them twisted together, you'll need to move up to the yellow. But right now I think we're going to be fine with the blue. And you slide that on, and then take a crimper and crimp that tight, like so. And now we'll do the same thing to the black wires. We will put that in there. Need my reading glasses. The problems of getting old, I'm sure some of you can relate. Can't see the way I used to. Crimp that. Now, I've got a red wire connection and a black wire connection right here. Into my black wire connection is going my ground wire. That comes in our kit. That's this piece of black wire here. And that's going to run over to the ground location. We're going to get that ready. Slide that in the other end here. Crimp it. Okay. There's our ground. And And then to our red wires, one side of the switch. The switch is what lets the power flow to the lights or not. So one side of it has to go to the lights. Either side, it doesn't matter which one. One side is all. And I've just slid that heat shrink over there because when I'm done, I'm going to cover this blue butt connector with the heat shrink so that I don't get a short of any kind. And I lock out the moisture. Crimp it good. Slide the heat shrink over it. All the way over. Make sure I cover up any wires that may be protruding from the other side. And we're going to shrink that down in just a minute. Now my switch is going to have to get positioned before I go much further. As a matter of fact, I really should have done that prior to connecting that end. It would have been easier, and I would have just had to thread two small wires in from here, as opposed to having to thread a big old fat switch out. My mistake. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But eventually my fat fingers will find it, and out it comes. And the switch is now here. Let's see if we can get down here a little bit. There we go. Here's my switch. And I'm going to be attaching that to the inside, right here on this bracket. My wire running up is going to attach right to this bracket. And guess what? I didn't clean and promote this surface, so I'll need to do that before I take my switch on. Okay, so let me get my lacquer thinner. And remember we had that little bit left in our promoter packet. I'm going to clean this surface right here real good with the lacquer thinner. Then I'm going to get my hemostats, which are hiding on me somewhere. The problem with having all these tools out, things start to hide under other tools. And I'm going to take that and swab it right there. I'm going to be mounting my switch. See where I like to keep that dry? I didn't have to open that packet. Now I've got an extra packet. And I'm now going to peel my tape off the switch, like so. And now this switch is going to get attached right there. It's a nice little push button switch. All we have to do is click, click, and I can reach that real easily when I'm riding. Okay, so my switch is installed. Now to the other side of the switch, you remember we put the lights, the red wires from the lights went to one side of the switch. We still have another side. The switch has two sides. And to that side, we are going to connect our fuse holder, which will go to the positive side of the battery. So what I'll do, my fuse holder, I use the other butt connector that comes in my kit. I want to make sure I put a heat shrink over it. And my heat shrinks are falling out of sight. Bear with me please, thank you. Back. And we're putting a heat shrink over there. Sliding this side of the switch into the butt connector, crimping very hard, and sliding my heat shrink over any bare wires that might come out the other side, and over the butt connector itself. So now I have two pieces of heat shrink that need to be shrunk down.